What's up, guys? One Koala Man here, bringing you episode number 3 of our Attack on Titan reviews. And if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button for more Attack on Titan and Fairy Tail reviews. Follow me on Twitter. It will be linked in the description below. If it's not, I apologize because my memory is complete booty. But if it's not, it is at One Koala Man. And yeah, be sure to share it to your mama, to your mama's friends, to your mama's grandbabies, to everybody you know. And let's get this mother underway. Alrighty, so we begin today's episode off at the beginning of the boot camp. And it's for, to see who's there to stay and who's there to, get booted out. So Loxus's voice actor, I keep forgetting his name. His name keeps running past me. But he keeps ripping everybody a new one, especially Armin. And as you know, I despise Armin. And he's saying, "What's your name, maggot?" And Armin's like, "My name is Armin," whatever his last name is. He's like, "Armin? What kind of parents would curse you with that stupid name?" I'm like, yes! I don't know. But, so yeah, he's ripping Armin a new one. He's ripping everybody a new one. And he's talking, through everybody, and he gets to a new character that we're introduced to by the name of John Kirstein. And I'm guessing he's like some German guy, but he's asking him, like, what does he want to do? And John wants to be part of the military police, or the MPs for short. And the commander just headbutts John right in the nose. I'm like, wow, why couldn't he do that to Armin? But that's a story for a different day. And he's ripping a new one into it's the commander's name and this bald kid's name that always runs right past me. I never hear what their name is. But he's talking to him, and then he hears someone eating, and he looks at her, and she is my personal favorite character of the entire anime up till this point. And her name is Sasha, aka Potato Girl, because she's eating a potato during this important moment, and he goes up to her and he's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm eating a potato, sir. It's a steamed fried potato." I'm like, oh my gosh. And he is angry. He's like, "Why are you eating a potato?" He's like, "Because it looked lonely and it wanted to, it was getting cold, and so I gave it shelter in my stomach." I'm like, okay. And I thought that was freaking funny. So, point 1 goes to Sasha. I love Sasha. Sasha's my favorite character. So, just like pretty much every other episode so far, up to this point, there's a lot of moving back and forth, because they like, the writers of the Attack on Titan really like to, hurry up the scenes, Like, I forgot the word. Anyways, they like to rush through the scenes. So now we're going from the Loxus voice actor ripping everybody a new one to the mess hall, and we see Eren talking to a whole host of people about what the Colossal Titan was like and what the Armored Titan was like, because nobody has ever seen them two. So they just heard stories and they wanted to ask it from Eren himself. And so he's talking about that, and he's getting angry, and he's saying that he wants to join the Scouts. And the Scouts are the most elite, and that is the group that we saw in I believe it was the first episode, with the lady with her, her son's arm. And it's a sad moment, but he wants to join the Scouts, and John is, talking smack. And so Eren's like, "You want to pick a fight?" And he's like, "I guess I do." And so they almost fight, and then they hear some bell, and then they're like, "Okay, whatever." And then they make up for it, and I'm like, okay. And so Eren leaves, and Mikasa leaves, and John is like, "Who is that?" So he goes up to her. He's trying to get some of Mikasa, honestly. He's like, "You have real beautiful black hair." And she's like, "Thanks." And then she just completely blows him out of the water. Alright, I forgot to mention what happened with Sasha after pulling her little stunt in the beginning of the episode with the potato. And so she got punished, and her punishment was she had to run all around until sundown. And I was like, wow. And people were saying, she wasn't really mad about that as much as she was mad with her eating privileges taken away. I'm like, but she's my favorite character still. I mean, I don't care. And so it was nighttime now, so she was finally done. She pooped out on the wherever, like near some of the housing units or whatever. And then she smells bread, and she sees this lady, and she just attacks the bread, and she just eats it like a wild animal, and then she passes out. She just passed out, and the lady and her friend help her up and, you know, help her find somewhere to go. So now we're at the next day, and everybody is training with the OMDs, or ODMs, the, you know, the gear that makes you fly like Spider-Man and all that. And it's just a, you know, shortened acronym for omnidirectional maneuver gear. I think that's what it was called. But they're called ODMs, and everybody's like kind of practicing, like trying to stay balanced. Some people are doing pretty good, and Aaron, which is very surprising because Aaron is the hero, so I thought he would be getting it, you know, right on lock. But he is falling back and forth from it, and everybody's like kind of like scoffing at him, saying, "Oh, this guy was talking big last night. Why isn't he, you know, performing today?" And I'm like, wow, I feel bad for Aaron on that part, and he's just effing up. Honestly, I mean, there's no other way to explain it. He's just effing up. So later that day, Aaron's asking Mikasa and BS Armin, you know, for help, and they're trying to help him out, and he just really can't get it. So they end up going to the mess hall, eating their dinner or whatever, and Mikasa's giving a spiel to Aaron, saying that maybe he should just quit and go off to the fields, like the people that quit did, what they did if they didn't want to be a, you know, a cadet or anything anymore. And he's saying, no, I'm not going to be a field worker because I have to pay back these titans for killing my mom and killing all these innocent lives. And I honestly, you know, feel his pain. Like, you know, Mikasa, the closest person to him at this point, is telling him, hey, maybe you should, you know, leave this to us. We'll handle it. You go do the field work if you have to. And she's like giving this spiel, and like people are starting to leave, and she finally finishes. And for some reason, Sasha's in place of Aaron, and she's like, "So are you gonna eat that piece of bread?" And I don't know what happens. They like, I think they share. I don't know. I'm like, okay. And in the cabins or whatever, Aaron's asking his, you know, his comrades for help, and he's just begging all of them. He's like saying, "Come on, you guys are the best in, you know, out of everybody. Please help me, please." And so two of them, I forgot their names too. I'm forgetting everybody's names. But they go with Aaron and Armin to like this lake, and they help him, you know, train. They don't show the training process like a montage or anything. They just go to a lake, and it's a very beautiful lake, if I may add. And they just go train for the next morning. Alright, so we get to the next morning, or I'm guessing it's morning. It's morning, afternoon. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but everyone's crowded around the one station with Aaron, and he's, you know, strapped in, ready to go for the ODM, and I'm like, you know, my fingers are crossed, and I'm saying, "Come on, Aaron, you got this, man." And they lift him up, and he actually does it for about a second or two, and then he falls down. He, like, you know, capsizes, and I'm like, I feel so sorry for Aaron. And so he gets lowered, and I'm like, oh man, what's going to be next for Aaron? And Loxus' voice actor actually says, "Hang on, we've got a defective ODM." I'm like, what? So he gets one more chance at this. And so they strap him in, and he goes up, and he's doing it. I'm like, wow. Since he was able to do it with a defective one, he's able to do it with a regular one, of course. I'm like, wow, congrats. Congrats on that. Hand clap for that, Aaron. And so the episode ends off with Aaron flying through the forest, doing all sorts of flips and tricks, and that's pretty much the end of the episode. Alright guys, that's it for today's episode, but you already know I don't like to end it off without a question of the day. And these questions of the day are getting harder and harder every single day. Oh my gosh. But we got introduced to the MP, which is the military police, and the scouts. So, of the two, for the MP and the scouts, which branch, I guess, would you call it, would you join? And of course, why? I'd probably join the MP because ain't nobody trying to go after Titans. I would not want to go after the Titans, man. But if I were Aaron, I probably would do the Scouts. But I'm not Aaron, I'm Josh. I'm not doing that. But leave your suggestions. What would you join in the comments down below? And I know there's more branches out there, but, you know, of the two that we were introduced to, which one would you join? Let me know down in the comments down below. And as always, guys, keep it cool.